Hello, ladies and gentlemen, we're back again. We're finishing up the last of our Quadratics Vocabulary. So today in this video, we're going to talk about, first of all, we're going to start with our maximum. So our maximum, our first point we want to make note of is, we could write mountain or hill, okay? Let me kind of, mountain and hill got a little too close together for Mr. Harper's purposes. Okay. The next part we want to say, it is the highest point of a graph. It opens down. And for now, I want you to write negative a. And in a future lesson, we're going to talk about that. All right? So basically, it's going to look like this. Remember, I said it looks like a mountain, so you don't have to draw this, but again, just for you to have a picture of. And see, this dot right here represents our maximum, okay? Because that's the highest point. It doesn't look like a mountain or a big hill. All right? So now let's move on to minimum. A minimum, our first point is, it's a valley or what I like to call a U. It is the lowest point of a graph. This time, instead of opening down, it opens up. And again, I want you to write positive A here. Again, you don't have to draw the graph, but again, just so you see what one looks like. That's where it opens up, and then you see your point I just drew as your minimum. All right? Average rate of change. In case you're taking the SAT or ACT and you just see those words, another way to say it is slope. And as we talked about before, remember that's rise over run. Or the change in x, the change in y over the change in x, okay? So over there, let's move on to zeros. Now, our first point here is, this is where the graph crosses the x-axis. Remember that this is also another term for solutions, roots, or our old 9th grade term, x-intercepts. All right? And then our last double-sided arrow we're going to talk about is our end behaviors. And this is the direction. Hold on a second, that the didn't look right. The direction the graph, or the ends, of the graph point or move. Okay? So again, you won't be able to draw this, but I want to just illustrate this. On the left side, if you notice, I'm going to draw a parabola that opens up. If you notice the arrows here, they're pointing up, and they're going, because we're talking about the y-axis, they're going towards positive infinity. So whenever the graph points up, we're talking about positive infinity. So therefore, if we're pointing down, we're going to talk about negative infinity. Okay? And the way you're going to write this is x goes to negative infinity as f of x, or our y will go to either positive or negative. Now the thing about this is, and then the other side we have is, again, f of x goes to positive infinity. X goes to positive infinity. Our f of x goes to the same direction as the negative infinity did, okay? So whichever way, at the left side, this is the left side, and this is the right side. So whichever way the left is going, if the left is pointing up, that means the right is pointing up. So they'll be the same thing. So you would put positive infinity here and positive infinity in the second blank. If it was pointing down, like over here to the right, you would say negative infinity. So you would say negative infinity on the top one and negative infinity on the bottom one. So again, we'll explore all of these in a future lesson. So just to go ahead and clarify, we talked about our maximum, our minimum, zeros, and then lastly, end behaviors. All right, so that's it for this lesson. So in the next lesson, we're going to talk about actually how to graph and how to use each of these terms that we talked about between this lesson and the previous lesson. Goodbye. See you in the next one.